In this video, I will explore Azure boards. Before exploring the Azure boards, first I need to create a project. Here I am in my Azure DevOps organization. I want to create a project. To create a project, I need to click on plus a new project button. You can give a meaningful name for your project. For the description, you can give the description for the project, or you can leave it blank, it's optional. For the visibility, here we have only private projects. Earlier we were able to create public project, both public and private project in the Azure DevOps, but now we can create only private projects. For the public project, Microsoft recommend using other repositories like GitHub that we will work on the next videos maybe. Click on the advanced. We have version control system and work item process. The version control system, we will give more detail when we studied Azure repos. We have a Git team foundation control. We will give more details when we study Azure repos. Now we select Git for the version control system. For the work item process, here we have different work items. As board is a service that is used to manage project work items. To manage project work item, we have different process like agile process, basic, CMMI, Scrum, and customize. These are the work item process that we can use in the Azure with the Azure board. Now let's select basic and click create project. The project is created. Let's jump to the board. The board here, the page that opens here, we can create our work items. To create the work items, we create on plus new work item. Here we have epic, issues, task. As we said, at the basic process only we have these three work items that we see: epic, issues, and task. Epic, for example, if you want to design or develop a website for ourselves, or you want to develop an application, at the epic we can include our final target. For example, designing the application, the sales application, or developing the website can be included under epic. For the issues, we can include the main content or the main functions at the application or at the website. For example, in our sales website, we want to have a home page, a design, a registration page, a contact page, and this kind of things. So we can include those important topics and their issues. For the task, we can include like for example, we can include designing the home page, designing the registration page, connecting the registration page with the database. These kind of items we can include under task. Okay, now let's create an epic. Click on the epic. You can name your work item. Okay. The next column, you can assign it to a user, to someone. You can type the email address, or you can select from the list. Now I select from the list. You can type the complete email address and it will be assigned to that person. You can give a comment. You can assign a tag. For example, I want to tag as an important thing that we can specify an activity. I want to give a development tag for this. Then status to do. We only have to do. Later when we save, we can change it to do, done, or any other states. We can give a reason. We have only limited options, but when we click save, we have more options. We can click areas. We can specify iterations that we will discuss each of them when we study these many options here. You can give a description. It's an optional. You can leave it blank, or you can give it a meaningful description if you want. Priority, to do this task we can give it a priority 1, 2, or 3. Priority is fine. We can assign a start date from here, and also we can specify the target date to for this activity to complete it. Once we assign here, we have another option, add an existing work item as a parent. Here we can connect or we can link this work item with another work item that if we have. Now we don't have any work item, so we leave it blank, or if we have, we click on this. For the parent work item is selected, that's sales website that we have here, and work item to link, here we select our work item to link. But now we leave it blank. Once you fill the required field, then click save. A work item under sales is created and the number is 40. Here, if you click on the work item, we can see a work item is created for us. The name of the ID is 40, title is sales website, and the respective column and information. This was the way that we can create the epic. Also, we can create the same way issue and task. We will work on issue and task later when we study both here. The next column here we have open inquiry. Open inquiry, we will study the query here. We have queries. That's an important feature in Azure boards that help us to query or search work items. We will study that later. Column options. Here we have different columns like ID, title, assigned to, state, and also activity date comment. If you want to add or delete any of the comment, any of the columns, you can click on the column options. You see here, if you want, you can change. For example, I want to change the title to title project, for example. You can change the state, you can change, oh sorry, I cannot change this or built-in. You can add or delete it. For example, I don't want the comment count deleted. Okay, so here we don't have the we don't have that column anymore. And also the other important option we have is import work item. If we have some work item already in Excel sheet, we can import it here. Click on import. That Excel sheet should be in CSV file or comma separated value file. If we have some work items in this format, we can choose it here. Click on choose. You can select it. Once you select it, you can import it in your projects. Then you will see those work items under either work item or board. And a recycle bin, if you want to delete this work item, you can click on the recycle bin. This was the work item. Also we have board, the same. Let's click on the board, wait for the board to open. The same activities that we can do with a work item, here we can do it at the Azure board. First of all, we can filter here. If we want to view our epics, click on epics, show our epics here. If we want to see our issues, it shows our issues. Since we don't have any issues, it's almost blank. To create an issues, we were able to create it through work item, or from here at the board, we can click plus new item. You can name it, for example, homepage. Now I have three issues here. If I click on the work items, I have the same epics here, the complete list of items, work items that we create, whether through work items or through boards, it shows here. But at the board we can filter. It shows only if we select epics, it shows only epics, or if we select issues, it will show only issues for us. Here the next item, we don't have here, we don't have task here. We can add the task here. For example, if we want to add task for any of these issues, we can select it. For example, under the home page, click on the three dots. Here we have add task. Click on the task, you can add your task here. Design home page. Add css, and also how you can add as much task as you want here. The other option here, we have three columns: to do, done, doing, done. If you want to change the place, the status of one of these activities, you can do it here. Click on the activities. For example, the home page, it's on to do state. Click on to do. Here we have a to do which is currently in the to do state. We can select done, or we can select doing. Let's select doing. When you select doing, it automatically moves to doing state. Or you can drag and drop. Drag it here we are at the done. Here it's at the done stage. Or you can put it here or here if you want. This way you can move the state from to do, doing, or done. This way we were able to move it. The next option is backlog. Here at the backlog, it shows our work item, but with a little bit detail at the right side. Again, if you want to see epics, click epics, it shows your epics. Or if you click issues, it shows issues. But here we can sorry, let me cancel this. Here we have a filter option. It shows the sprint. What is a sprint? We will see here. We can add a sprint from here. Okay, now let's add some sprint, then we will see the details here. Click on the sprint. The sprint, again, it shows our work item and their respective state, but we can add a sprint here. A sprint is the duration of time. We can add it. Click on the sprint. For example, the sprint one, a start date, we can specify the start date here. For example, the first sprint or the first duration, we can specify our work items or divide our work items at different time interval. The first sprint starts from this date and ends this date. Save and close. This is the sprint first. Again, at the backlog item, we can do the same sprint. If you want to add a sprint, click on new sprint, give it a meaningful name, sprint 2. The sprint 2 start from this date and end this date. Click create. Here if you want to add another sprint, we can add it here. For example, we specify the date for the third sprint and create. It shows our sprint, and if we come to the sprint, it shows our sprint now. For example, it shows our only one sprint. Here we can click on the filter, and we can group by assigned to me, or we can side pane. We can see the work detail and planning if you want. The important thing here, we have capacity. We can specify capacity for our user. For example, for my current user, let's say for the development, I have 4-hour capacity. If you want to another user, here you can add another user. Let's suppose I want my this user. Select. Okay, here for the designing he has 5 hour capacity. Click save. If you come to the taskboard, and here if you select the planning, it shows here, or if you click work detail, it shows the overall activities and work progress. And if you want to change an item from one sprint to another sprint, it is very simple. You can select and drag and drop it. For example, here at the sprint one we have 3 issues, 2 tasks. But for the sprint 2 or sprint 3 we don't have any work item. Let's suppose we want to do this task at the sprint 2. Select this task and drag it on sprint 2. Now we have a work item in sprint 2. This was the sprint, or the duration of time that we can specify for our project. The next item we have is queries. Query, we can do search, or we can do query or search for our work items. Let's create a new query. For example, you can, at the field, you can specify the query that you want. For example, you can select this or the fields that we can search in our project, or if you want, for the simplicity, you can type. For example, we want to type state. We say if the state is equal to do. Select to do it and run query. It shows all to do items. If you change this to done, run, it shows all the run queries. We don't have any queries. If let me change the state to done, one of these. Okay, let me change the state of this to doing. Okay, now we have one work item in doing. If I come to the queries, new query. Okay, let me type state to doing. Run query. It ran that query. Also, let's suppose now we want to set the priority. Okay, if you want, you can specify the priority 1 2 3. Let's suppose we want to see the work item with a priority 2. Select number 2, run query. It shows all the priority. If we change this priority number to 3, run, we don't have any work item with priority 3. Again, you can select number 2, run query. It shows. If you want to save this query for further use, you can save it. Click on save, give a name. Oh. Here at the folder, if you click at the my queries, you will be able to see this. But if you want to be available in your overall project, you can save it at the shared queries. I select shared queries. Okay, now this query is saved. I can use it later if I want. The next option here, we have chart. We can create new charts. Click on the chart, give a meaningful name, a group by. You can select. We will study chart in the overview section as well. But if you want, you can work on that. But I prefer to work on the chart at the overview. There we have different kind of charts with further customized option. So, here we have other options like delivery plans, analytics, view. For the delivery plans, we will study when we study test plan, we will work with delivery plans. It's linked with this. Now we will leave it for the test plan lessons. For the analytics view also, we will once we work with the repos, with the pipelines, then we will work with the analytics view. And if we click on the boards or the backlog, here we have settings. You see here this option, click on the settings. Here is the settings for the our project. Let me go to the board, then click on settings. Here we have the general. We can specify which items to be displayed, which items to hide. If you want to hide an item and take it save, then that item will not be visible anymore. Working days, here we have working days. We can include Saturday or Sunday. We can specify our working days too. Fields, the fields that we can have in our project. If you want to add additional field, you can click here. You can select and include it in your project. Styles, we can have different styles. For example, if we want, let's suppose we can specify condition for our state. For example, if the state is equal to, we gave the name for our style rule. At the field, we select our field. Here we have different field. Let's suppose I want to filter by state. If the state equal to for example doing, if the state of our work item is doing, displayed with this color. Save. Now here we have the color of the work item is changed. If I change the state of this item to doing, it automatically change to the color that we specify. If I change the color back, for example to done, the color is different again. Sorry, style, we can specify another criteria if you want. For example, this time I want the criteria for the tags. Let me give a select a color. For example, let me type tag. If the tag contains designing, here we have development. For example, if we have a tag that contains development, then it should be displayed, that work item should be displayed with this color. Save. Okay, let me give this tag, for example, okay, this one. Click it. I don't have tag for this. Let me select development, save and close. The color of that work item automatically change. Here we can customize our project items, colors, the views, and other things. We can change the color here. If you want annotation, the test, we will work on once we reach to the test plans. Column, we can add columns. Here we have to do, doing, and done. If you want to add another column, you can give it a name. For example, I at the end. Okay, let me cancel this first. Okay, columns. Here, add new column, give it a name. For example, final. Save. Here we have another column. If you want to delete it, come here, select final and remove. Save. We don't have that column anymore. And this was the project, basic project. Let's go back to our organization. Let's create a new project. Click a new project. This time I want to select CMMI. Here we have at the advanced, we at the work item process. Since we said we have different projects like Agile, Basic, CMI, Scrum. The only difference between Agile, Basic, CMI, Scrum is their work item. With the Basic we have only three, but with the Agile, with the CMMI, with the Scrum, we have different kind of work items. Let's create a Scrum. Let's select a Scrum process. click create. Now if I come to the Azure board, click on work item, here we have different work items like bag, epic, feature, impediment, product, backlog item, task, and test case. Again, if we select another work item process, we will have other work item here. Only the difference between the work item process is the work items that contain. But basic we have only 3, but with the CMMI we have more. With the agile we have different work items. Based on the need of the project, we can select our work item process. Here when we create here, if you want to create a customized process for ourselves, but the need of organization, the organization doesn't want agile, basic, CMI, Scrum. We want to have our own process. If we want to create our own process, we can do that. To create the own process, let's here at the organization at the organization setting, click on the organization setting. Here we have process. The same process here we have basic, agile, Scrum, CMMI. For any of these process, if we want to create a inherited process, click on the 3 dots. Here we have create inherited process. You can give a meaningful name for that process. For example, basic, customized, basic. You can give a description, click create. Here if you click, we have this work items, but we want to customize it. We can add new work item type. You can give name, description, and create. As much as work item you can create. This was an overview of Azure board.